What if I told you I can occasionally be wrong? Well, that's what this episode is somewhat about, but I'm going to expand it from that point as well. So here's what here's the point. I did mention that I don't believe that the market is necessarily oversaturated for drivers. I have found, and I did have a recent I did watch a recent episode from Mr. Pedro, Mr. Bad on You, Santiago, and I'm actually going to kind of take his side on this one. The market in the primary, this is the primary apps. This is about DoorDash and Uber Eats. The market in many of these cases is oversaturated. And the reason I can say this with a straight face is, well, the pay. It's a supply and demand issue, and right now the supply is very, very high relative to the demand, which is why these companies can get away with making these terrible and pitiful offers. And they take advantage of drivers who are desperate to take anything, and the result is money losing offers. Per the math that I've calculated on previous episodes, that most trips actually lose money. Once you include expenses, the four categories of expenses, such as gasoline, insurance, car payments, and depreciation. Obviously, if you're driving an old beater vehicle or don't have payments on it or own it free and clear or paid cash for an old junker, the depreciation portion does not apply to you, nor do the car payments. But actually, the car payments don't apply to you. The depreciation still sort of does, but not to the effect that it otherwise would if you're driving a brand new car, for example, to deliver. So these terrible offers come through from these apps, and the reason being that there's so many drivers out there relative to some markets. Now, as I mentioned before, I drive in a small market, relatively speaking. It's still officially part of the Twin Cities metropolitan market. However, Forest Lake is about 35 miles north of downtown Minneapolis and 30 miles north of downtown St. Paul. So we are an ex-urban / small town market up here. And you know, all of the chain restaurants exist here, but there's only one of each location. So, for example, one McDonald's, one Wendy's, one Burger King, one Applebee's, etc., etc., etc. Some chains don't even exist up here at all. You know, Buffalo Wild Wings, no locations here at all. We have one Jersey Mike's, and it's relatively new. But so minimum offers and minimum orders are fairly frequent up here because customers can get away with not tipping, and I've also explained why they can do this. The reason why there's stacked orders are so prevalent up here, it's not necessarily because there aren't enough drivers to take them. I believe it is now. I now believe, after reconsidering things, that this is something that they do in order to get these minimum no tip, no trip offers delivered. Because they're still getting their fees. They're still getting their very hefty delivery fees from the customers. But if there's no tip, then they got to figure out a way to get them delivered, because on a standalone basis, they don't necessarily get delivered. But they can if they're tucked in with a good offer. So they look better. They look better combined than the no tip order does as a standalone. Now, they can still get no tip orders delivered in many areas, not necessarily this one, but many areas it can happen because, well, drivers are desperate enough, and there's too many drivers in some specific areas. The problem with the Forest Lake area is that it's a combination of there aren't a lot of drivers and there are not a lot of offers at the same time. Population here is 20,000. That's it. And we are geographically fairly separate from the main suburban bands of the Twin Cities metropolitan area, so we are what we call an exurb. Now, the next part 2 of this video here, real quick, is just I'm going to suggest how you spend your time in a market like this. So if you are in a small town, ex-urban, small city market like this one, my suggestion is don't leave your house to take delivery orders. You want to do what I'm doing right now, and that's how I have the app on right now. For example, apps on for both Uber and DoorDash, and I'm waiting for orders while filming this video. I do that. I do my laundry while doing this. I do my cleaning around the house with the apps on. They're not going to take all of my time because there are not enough orders to justify doing that. So I will wait for orders at home. I will not leave the house looking for them. Driving around and wasting miles looking for offers and orders is the worst thing you can possibly do, especially when it comes to the expenses part of the equation. I do it at home. I'm comfortable here. If I have to go to the bathroom, I have my own. I'm not using some gas station bathroom. I'm cleaning my house and I'm getting things done with my time. If you ever see me filming an episode and I'm touching the screen, looks like I'm touching the screen, it's because I'm either accepting or declining an offer. They do not get my entire time in this market because there are not enough orders to justify it. So if you are in a smaller, less busier market, that's my suggestion for you. Do it. Take your orders at home. Not only take your orders at home, but do things that you have to do anyway, such as laundry, such as cleaning the house, such as, in my particular case, I got terminated from my W-2 job a few weeks ago. Job hunting. I do that while waiting for offers too. Submitting resumes and things like that. Filming these episodes. Doing other things that are more productive than simply sitting on my rear, twiddling my thumbs, and waiting for orders. I'm going to use my time the way that I need to. I'm packing up and getting ready for a trip to Colorado this week. I did my laundry and I've gotten everything packed. My clothes are packed in my carry-on. I'm just about ready to go. A couple things here to do. Still got to pack my medicine once I'm done filming this. Those are all going to go in my carry-on bag. All while I'm waiting for an offer. I'm not going to go out there and drive around looking for offers. The Hot Zone map on DoorDash, by the way, is the biggest fraud that I can think of within that space. Even if you're in the immediate area of one of the so-called hotspots, your odds of getting an order are the same as they are anywhere else in your zone. I know this because, well, I've experienced it. So that's the short answer to that. So this is actually going to be the uploaded Thursday afternoon episode. And so we'll see you with an episode tomorrow morning before I get on the plane. I'm going to upload tomorrow earlier in the morning because my Uber leaves here for the airport at about 8 a.m. I'm going to try to do that here before I take off for the airport. So you're going to get an upload tomorrow at about 8 a.m. Central Time. Reason being that I don't want to use public Wi-Fi to upload an episode. I want to use my home Wi-Fi here, just like I'm doing in filming this episode now. I want to use my own home Wi-Fi. I want to do the most secure upload I possibly can get. I don't want to give anybody else access to my YouTube accounts or access to any of my episodes to steal. Not that I think anybody's going to steal it, given my small follower count and my very small viewer count. Speaking of boosting those counts, if you want to counter these points at all, feel free to drop it in the comments below. Would appreciate it. Like this video if you agree. Dislike it if you don't. So anyhow, that's it for this episode. We will see you throughout the weekend, and as I put these episodes kind of in canned format and load them up on the schedule as I go. Again, it'll be 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Normal is 9 a.m. Central, and this episode is coming up at coming on at 5 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, and then 5 p.m. Central Time every other day the rest of the weekend. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and peace out, homies.